All right, time for another one here. So we got the INDIO Business Connect Center. So I guess that's where you take your business and you connect it. So we got some regular channel letters. They're all technically regular channel letters. These guys here, I mean, you're doing these about once a week now, it seems like. So 26 inch, you got that down. Regular channel letters, which the only challenge is these are kind of small. They're only 6 inches, but I think you'll be all right. But trim cap will be the main challenge there. I just kind of want to go over what I got going for here. This is regular channel letter, but they're all funky. So it's supposed to be a globe. It looks more like something that belongs on the top of the FIFA Cup trophy. So we'll go over that. But with that being said, let's get after it. So lay of the land, backers that you're going to be welding the returns to. So we're doing it that way like we do. Regular channel letters with welded backs. These are the faces for this weird globy thing going on. We got the backer tabs. I'll go over that. We've done this once before, maybe a couple times, but I just remember the one time it worked out pretty good. I gave you a Mark 6, a double, and a single. I don't know what's up. We might also be looking at, because things are so small, I'll go over that, but it might be looking 12 volt. So I don't know. We are doing 808 white backers. We want the thicker. Just because these are kind of structural, so they're going to hold on to the studs and all that. So we'll go over that. We need the beef. Haven't done this in a while because we really haven't had anything this small in a while, but because we're going to have blue screws and all that other stuff in these letters, we are going to do the inserts. That'll help you guys do the LEDs. It'll just make it easier all around. And then there's a lot of first shop going on. So make sure you get the white acrylic. All of this has to have vinyl on it. And then, of course, the INDIO treatment. These guys are only white, though. I guess that's fine, so you don't have to worry about that. We do have some patterns going on, install pattern like normal, but I am having the first shop, the Pete's, are going to be making you a couple of these patterns. I'll go over that. This will help you lay out because they're so funky. I didn't really have any room to score them as far as like which one's which and all that. So once you get a big confusing pile of rings, it'll be tough. So anyway, so just going over what's challenging. Let's start from the middle here, or just from the basic, the INDIO. You guys got that. It's all 3-inch returns on everything. So somebody's going to be stomping for days. Good luck with that. So you're going to do 3-inch on the face, welded to the face, basically, like we do. But it's also going to be the same thing for the little guys. It's just, that's all. It's just going to be challenging for you guys to trim cap that. But I think you guys will have it all right. And then, like I said, you're going to be doing the inserts. So bringing up LEDs, I would say it's both these cats here. Tetra Power Boys probably wouldn't be the best decision for this, but it's also going to boil down to this guy right here. Number 5, this clown, Mambo number 5. This is your face on these, as you can see from the picture there. So this is all you get to light up is that color there. And so that guy will probably be the decision. Also, you're going to have riv nuts. So the riv nuts, the squishes go to the inside. So look right here. So this will be the inside of the letter facing down. This is it's backed up plex. So you're going to put the plex in there and you're going to silicone it down. But you're going to have this riv nut squish, and we're going with 1/4 20s just to give it some beef. But each of them are going to have at least two riv nuts. These bigger, like goggle looking ones here, I'm going ahead and put them on the outside and put like one in the center there. So these are going to sit right where your modules would love to go. So you might want to reverse engineer from these little guys what product you're going to use, and then make your color decisions and all that, 6500, whatever. So you definitely don't want to be mixing and matching, especially when you have white on white here, and then you'll have matching vinyls that will match this vinyl. So I think if you have 7100 in here with 6500 in here, it could be a little bit of an issue. Even though just white on white here is fine, like really whatever color this is. But anyway, so whether you go tracer or you bring in the Tetra single little boys, like the single ones, or whether you're going 12 volt or so anyway, you might want to investigate what product will fit best in this globe first, and then work your way out and then make that decision how it goes. So anyway, But anyway, so yeah, so it's regular channel letters, all that. So let's go over this globe. So the way we've done this before, you did this, like I said, I can remember one time. I don't know if you've done it since, but each of these are going to have, let's go to the, there you go. This is the faces. So each of these are going to have that reference kiss. They have 2 reference kisses. This one is where you're going to put those tabs, if you remember. And then I also have the reference kiss of where the face sits. So when you go to put the face in, when it goes to assembly, the face will sit right about there, and you're just going to silicone it in, right, like we do. So the faces will have both of those. You'll have that ring for final assembly, but each of these little guys are what you're going to pay attention to. And I think you remember where you're going to bend these up. You do bend on this side like we do, like you're just going to clamp and do 90. And then this little nugget right here sits in that little spot. And then remember, you just kind of hold it up against the return, make sure it's good and straight, make sure it's 90 perpendicular. That's the top view of that little tab, and there's the hole. So just put the little tongue in there, make sure it lines up good, tack it to the return, boom, 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 work your way around. And then that is what the 080 is going to sit on when it comes time for final assembly. So I think you remember that from last time. Oh, there it is right there. That's like that top view. So you'll just make sure that little tongue goes in there and just work your way around. So hopefully that works for you. And then when it comes time to do final assembly, like I said, you'll put the faces in there. The one thing about the faces is I think you'll be able to go in at an angle enough that you'll be able to avoid the little tongue groove things here, the little guys. I didn't put any like notches, so you can see where this is the face, and you can see where that's the little guy here. I didn't go around and notch these because I just didn't want to get that close to the edge when you go to silicone these in. So I think though that there's enough room to bring it over to the edge here. See, and miss it there. Tuck it in an angle, and then bring this back. And I think you can, wedge it in there somehow. If not, have your Dremel ready at final assembly after paint and everything. Maybe you might have to kiss a couple. Not kiss the metal, but you might have to kiss the face a little bit if you can't get. Like I think maybe this one would be the major issue, is if you can't angle that face in there around all these little tabby boys. So anyway. Just be on the lookout for that. But when it comes time to assemble, this is definitely not going to be a paint it on Friday and assemble and then install on Friday. But even though the problem is all this is due first week of February, so it is go. But this is going to need at least a couple days or a day to, you're going to do final assembly, and you're going to have to silicone these faces in there and let them sit. You're going to have to put some weights in there, put it in there, get a little couple weights, and then go ahead and work your silicone all the way around. Or bring in some Lord's, 7500 series if you want to really do the polyurethane trick and just go ahead and get it in there quick and let it cure up. Might be faster than silicone, but however you want to do it. You're going to need that time for assembly. So work backwards from there. And like I say, make sure that first shop's on it. Get these things, get the colors on there as fast as possible because you got that cure time. Not to mention all the trim cap you got to do here. But anyway, so there's that. Just keep on a lookout. And then like we do, when you go to put this on there, you're just going to put the screws, and that's going to float on those tabs. And then I have this is a 32nd of an inch. So this is the 050 return right here. And then this is the backer. That's the 080 right there. So you'll just close that up like we do. So just work around. Once you get the screws in there, go ahead and seal it up. And then you're going to do the squish to the inside, and then just do a double nut with the 1/4-20 and tighten the stud on there for them. And then that's, like I said, this is upside down. So, but that'll leave the pocket right there. So you'll have clearance. And so they'll just go ahead and put that up against the wall. And then, well, that goes with it, but bam, up against the wall, good to go. And then, like I say, you get rid of the light leaks. So that way it should look clean when it's up there, especially if it's this blue color here. Any kind of light leak is going to be very obvious. So we want to make sure those are sealed up really sexy like. And then the patterns that I'm giving you, these are going to be face down. So there wasn't any room on each of these. So like I say, you're just going to get a bunch of weird rings, and who knows what goes to what, which way's up, which way's down. So take this pattern. Like I say, I got a couple of those for you. You're going to go ahead and just lay these out first. You can mark them for yourself. Plus, this will give you the ability to mark your UL holes. So use this. So after you get it all welded, you can lay these face down on the pattern that you'll have. And then you can use this to reference and make your transcribe your marks up and get your UL holes, because everyone puts UL holes, right? Boys and girls. And anyway, and then you can also at that point get out your little engraver, and you can mark which ones these are on the return so they don't get lost in paint. And then once they get assembled, then the whites will have the engraving. So install will know which way is up and which way goes where, because they're just going to go drill a bunch of holes. They don't know what's up. So anyway, but once you get the, but in between that, use this to reference your face rings once they come off the router. And that way you'll know which way's up and stuff. And then I didn't want to confuse the UL with the already existing reference kisses. So to put the UL hole right here, you'd be like, oh, I have to put a tab there. I didn't want that to happen. So like I did on these guys, like I do, I put the little reference kiss for you so you guys remember to put your UL holes. These don't have the UL holes. So use this to get the bottom of each one of those really good. So UL don't see us, though. And then, of course, after you get everything welded up on these two weird, funky boys, I went ahead and put a couple braces. Go ahead and chop those out, make it look clean. That way this stays once this is welded up. But until then, I figured these two would be a noodly nightmare to try to keep the way it's supposed to be as you weld it. So hope that helps anyway. So I think you guys know what's up. Just kind of going over all that. But again, so choose wisely your LEDs. So that way it fits in number 5 and works out from there, from that nonsense, and can skirt around these rivnuts and all that, but give nice even coverage. And then also what fits in these silly little 6-inch boys. So anyway, I think that's it. Let's see. That's it. Get those for shop. Get that. Install. Yep. I think that's it. These guys here. Light leaks. Rivnuts. 1/4 20. Yep. That's it. So as usual, if you have any questions, hit me up.